Howdy, folks. I'm Leary Lesser Celandine, levelly leveraging luscious leaves.
I'm Amber.
And here are more luscious leaves for us to levelly do. I don't really know exactly what this sentence means, but it means something.
You're leveraging them somehow. I don't know what flower you're leveraging against, but...
Yes, we're blackmailing them. Let's get started. Alright, folks, and our first letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Telling My Girlfriend to Stop Dancing with Some Kid That We Don't Know? So my girlfriend is a 29-year-old female, and I'm a 22-year-old male. And we were walking back to Burger King to grab a dinner before we would go back to my apartment and watch some SmackDown, WWE Professional Wrestling. Or so she thought. I've been working a lot lately, and this is the only night that I have to see her. I was thinking that tonight, maybe I would try to pop the question since we've been dating for a little over 4 years now. So this whole thing was planned back home. Roses, music, chocolate, and my stepmom's ring. She had no idea and still doesn't. Well, we get to Burger King, and there's this kid outside, and he looks kind of sad. He's probably like 12. I don't know. My girlfriend says that he was probably 8, but that doesn't really make sense, because he seemed hairy. Not that I saw any hair. Anyways, this kid suddenly says, I hate it here. And he's all sad. My girlfriend, being the wonderful person that she is, goes up to him and asks him what's going on, and I guess the kid just had his first proper heartbreak. So my girlfriend is comforting him. I don't really say anything, I just kind of stand there, eyeing the door. But some point in time, I just go back into the Burger King and hope that she gets the hint. I order 2 Bacon Kings, one for both of us, and then they are made and ready. I sit down and I wait for a minute and I still don't see her. I send her a text saying that the food is ready and she looks at it, but she doesn't respond. I eat my Bacon King and I go outside and I see her and the kid dancing. I sort of smile, but on the inside I am honestly fuming. She explained that the kid was showing her the giddy, which I obviously know what it is. You don't have to tell me. But the kid says, nah, I'll be hitting the giddy, Ethan style. Then he proceeds to hit giddy without changing anything. I ask if we can go home, but she just gives me a look and ignores me. After standing outside of this Burger King for what feels like another hour, my girlfriend says that it was only 10 minutes more, and she gives the kid a hug, and we go back home. I'm so mad, but I don't say anything. But she kind of knows that I'm mad and keeps asking what's wrong. After a bit more pushing, I ask why she had done the dance with the kid. She says that it felt like he needed it and was the obvious thing to do. I don't really say anything. I didn't end up proposing, we just watched SmackDown without talking much. I'm having a lot of weird feelings. Is she just going to dance with any kid that seems sad? And I can't live with that. Edit. A lot of people seem to think that going to propose to my girlfriend at Burger King, that wasn't what I meant. I was going to propose to her at home after SmackDown was done because it was a show that we like watching together. All right, folks, what do you think?
Yeah, I think Opie's being a jerk here. Now, I understand that he wanted to go home and do this, but his girlfriend was assuming this was just a regular Friday night type of situation. It sounds like SmackDown was late enough that they weren't going to be missing it. You know, I would have understood a little bit more his frustration if they were going to like some fancy restaurant as a surprise. They had reservations they had to meet or something. But the appropriate reaction is to like explain to her that there's something that has come up or something like that. You know, like just give her some kind of notification and not expect her to mind read.
Well, even more than that, right? It doesn't sound like this really took that much more time, right? It sounds like, because you can eat a burger pretty quickly, right? Especially if you're sitting by yourself and eating it.
Especially if you're Amber.
Yeah, I mean, Amber can put away a burger pretty quickly. I think that he is inflating the time in his mind here. I don't really feel like she probably spent that much time, maybe a half hour talking to this kid and comforting him. Even if it was longer, more like an hour, that's still not a huge amount of time. And it sounds like they were able to get home and still watch their show. So I don't think that there was really any harm done here. So basically, he's getting jealous because his partner comforted somebody else, is what it really feels like.
Yeah, well, that's the part that's boggling to me, is how he's fuming that when he sees her dancing with this kid, instead of being like, oh, it's sweet that my partner is, you know, helping this kid who's upset. It may be a little frustrating to me in the moment because I have things I want to do, but like, it's still really sweet of her. He's like fuming on the inside, and like now he's rethinking the whole proposal because what if they see other sad kids and she decides to dance with them?
Yeah, well, I think it's a little odd because it's like here she is showing empathy and kindness, and that makes him reconsider proposing to her? Like, it just seems very backwards, right?
Yeah, and I mean, granted, she could have been a little more communicative. Like when he sent her the text, the right thing to do would have been like to at least express like, "I'll be a few more minutes."
Yeah,
But aside from that, like I think he is blowing things out of proportion.
yeah. But let me know what you folks think. So, anyhow, take care and good luck. And Wicked Love 7 says, wait, okay, she's 29, you're 22, and you've been dating for 4 years. So you started dating at 25 for her and 18 for you. That seems predatory. You need to learn to communicate better. Till then, don't get married. But also, you're mad that she was cheering up someone instead of paying attention to you. And OP replies, yeah, basically, it's a bit more complicated than that, but you know how Reddit is. Is there anything for communication that I should have done differently? I thought that the text was pretty straightforward. And Throw Aside When Done says, not going to deny, the age gap and how long they've been together makes me think if the genders were reversed, it's the only thing that people would be talking about. And OP replies, it get brought up a lot. My dad doesn't say anything, but my mom is really upset about it. But the ironic thing is that the comments are all talking about that.
Right, I hadn't even noticed, honestly, when I was reading the story. I just kind of usually gloss over the ages until I get to the comments, but I hadn't read the comments on this one.
Alright, folks, and our next letter is titled, My partner, a 33-year-old male, proposed to me, a 28-year-old female, as a joke in front of his friends. My partner, a 33-year-old male, and I, a 28-year-old female, have been together for almost 5 years. We live together, and I thought that we were on the same page about our future. We were hosting a small get-together last night with some of his friends at our apartment. The night was going great. Towards the end of it, everyone started talking about relationships and marriage. His friends have been pushing him to propose for a while, so it wasn't a surprise when the topic came up. Out of nowhere, my partner gets down on one knee and pulls out this ring. He started this whole speech about how much he loves me and he wants to spend the rest of his life with me. I was in shock and I started crying tears of joy. This is something that I've been dreaming about for a while now. Just as I am about to say yes, he bursts out laughing and says, "Relax, babe, it's just a joke." His friends were laughing and I was just standing there completely shattered. He handed me this plastic ring, the kind that you get from a vending machine. I tried to play it off and laugh too, but inside I was dying. I felt so humiliated and hurt. After everyone left, I confronted him about it, and he said that I was being too sensitive and that it was just a bit of fun. But it wasn't. I've always been serious about our future, and I felt like he was mocking my feelings and our relationship. He knows how much I care about this, and he made it into a joke. The thing is that he didn't seem to understand why I was upset. He kept saying that it was just a joke and that I should lighten up. I love him, but this has really shaken me. How do I even start to explaining to him how deeply this has hurt me? Has anyone else been through something similar like this? Breaking up over a joke after 5 years together feels wrong to me, but I feel so hurt right now. Edit, I know what a prank is. He called it a joke, and I'm describing everything just as it happened. Alright, folks, what do you think?
Definitely not the jerk for being heartbroken over this. This was not a joke. This was something cruel. Like we've said before, a joke is only funny if everyone
Yeah.
is laughing, and OP most of all. And so, I mean, what he did is very cruel. He knows how much this means to OP, and he decided to take that and, like, humiliate her in front of his friends for laughs.
Yeah, well, that seems like they were laughing at OP as opposed to laughing with OP.
Mm-hmm.
OP was pretty hurt by this whole situation. I think it was reasonable for her to talk to him about this, and I think it was unreasonable that he blew her off.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think he should have done this. It feels very insensitive for him to have done something like this.
And it feels very telling, too, about how he feels about the relationship. I mean, he is trivializing her emotions right now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he sees marriage in the same light she does. And so if they were to break up, it wouldn't be just breaking up over a joke.
Yeah.
It would be breaking up because he is insensitive and is not concerned about hurting his partner for laughs.
Exactly. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And Fussel Roll says, how do I even start to explain how deeply this hurt me? You did. He didn't care. I wouldn't want to be the punchline in someone's life. And OP replies, Yeah, he didn't. I'm wondering if the joke was planned. It felt like they knew that he would humiliate me because none of them seemed to care enough to ask if I was okay or tell him that he went too far. Alright, folks, and our next letter is titled, Am I a Jerk? Am I a beta because my wife pays for dinners at restaurants? My sister called me a beta because of an incident that happened over Father's Day weekend. I want to get opinions from married people on what you think what I did was wrong or not, or if my sister does have a point. My wife and I have been married for 5 years now and together for 8. We both are in our early 30s. We have a 2-year-old son. I was at my parents' house for Father's Day. My youngest sister, Jill, a 26-year-old female, lives with our parents. My parents are amazing people and always encourage me to study hard, and I do have a very high-paying job in tech. My wife works in marketing, and we both are very comfortable when it comes to finances. All of our finances are joint, and we do not have any individual accounts anymore. We do have some credit cards that are separate, as they all have different rewards. However, we pay for all of them using our joint account. Well, on Saturday night, we all decided to go out for dinner to celebrate Father's Day, to a nice steakhouse in our town. It was my parents, Jill, and us. When it came time for us to pay for the dinner, the server brought out the check and put it in front of me. My wife and I have this running gag where I always tell the server that my wife will pay, pointing to my wife. And we always get a funny reaction from the server. The real reason why we do this is because she has a credit card that gives her better rewards on restaurant purchases. I did the same and gave my wife the check, and she gave her card. The evening was great. At night, my wife went to bed early with our toddler. My mom, Jill, and I were sitting on the patio, drinking and catching up. Jill asked why I made my wife pay for dinner. I told her that it's no big deal as we are married and all of our money is our money. However, Jill said that I needed to be more chivalrous towards my wife and that it's the husband's duty to pay at a restaurant. She told me that when she goes out on dates, it's a big red flag if the guy does not pay for or ask to split the check. I understand that part, and I would do the same when I was dating my wife. However, it only lasted 2 months before my wife told me that she's not comfortable with me paying for everything and that I should let her pay for stuff too. I was trying to explain to Jill that paying for dates is okay at the start of a dating phase, but after 8 years, you look at finances differently. Jill says that I'm just acting like a beta if I let my wife pay for restaurants. We asked our mom for her opinion, and she sided with Jill. She said that my dad has never let her pay for a single meal and always picks up the check. I argued that they also have joint finances, but she said that it's not about the money, but the act of paying that makes men chivalrous and desirable. I wanted to ask if I'm the jerk to let my wife pay for our dinners. Do married women really care if their husbands pay for their meals at restaurants? I'm going to talk to my wife about this. I'm really intrigued about what people in long-term relationships think about Jill's comments. All right, folks, what do you think?
Well, as a married woman, I think Jill is completely out of line here. It sounds like OP and his wife have a system that works for them, and that's all that matters.
Who are you married to?
I'm married to you.
No, I mean, I agree. I think that this is a little bit of a strange situation where they have joint accounts on everything.
Mm-hmm.
So if one of them pays, they're both paying?
Well, exactly. Like, it's just posturing. They're like, you need to act out this role of being this macho, chivalrous man. It's like, no, what matters is that the two partners in the relationship are happy with how things are working.
You know what I think next time, if they're at a restaurant all together like this, when the waiter puts the check down, OP should grab it, stand up, put it over their head and be like, I shall pay for this, as loud as they can in the restaurant. And then grab their wife's credit card and then put it in there.
Oh, I love that twist.
So, yeah, I think this is absolutely absurd. I don't think that I think that Jill is out of line here, and I think the mom is out of line here. I think that it really depends on the relationship. Maybe some people feel better with that show, right? Maybe they feel more appreciated if you show that you're paying or something like that. But it sounds like OP and their wife's relationship dynamic, it doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really all that matters, right?
Right. Well, it also sounds like the wife likes to feel like she's a contributing member of the household.
Yeah.
You know, and it seems like they just use whichever credit card is better for whichever purchase, which is a very logical thing to do.
Yeah. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. I shall pay for this. And Comedic Hermit says, fun fact, everyone that uses alpha and beta in terms of human behavior is ridiculous, not the jerk. And Doesn't BS says, some additional fun facts. Everyone that uses alpha and beta to describe any behavior is ridiculous. The guy who coined these terms was a scientist who spent months observing wolves. He then published his theory about alpha and beta males that we see so often used to describe humans and their behavior. Except a little while later, the same scientist realized that he was wrong the whole time. He came to the conclusion, after further observation, that contradicted his theory. He spent the rest of his career trying to correct his mistake, but people wouldn't listen. For some folks, the minds of predatory life coaches, the thought of alpha and beta and gamma sigma was so great that they didn't care about all of that just to make it believable. And that's actually very true. I mean, this is actually true and what has happened. Like, this scientist, I feel bad for him because he spent his whole life trying to, like, show people that no, he was wrong. And in fact, like, some of the wolf leaders that they saw were actually
mothers.
the wolf mothers trying to lead the pack, right? So it's a little strange that we're trying to, one, apply wolf behavior to human society, and then two, that we're completely wrong about wolf society in general, right?
And some of these were women, like, leading their pups and stuff.
So yeah, I think that it's really ill-informed when people use these terms to describe human behavior. Maybe there is some hierarchical structure in human society that's different from wolves, and that could be the case, but you shouldn't be using these terms in the respect that they, like, because they don't really mean the same thing that people think they mean.
They don't. Well, and the thing is, like, we dictate how society runs. We, help determine the hierarchies. It's not like we are in a fixed society. Like, animals they're kind of built into a society, whereas humans, we have the ability to change and make things more equitable.
Yeah. All right, folks, it is tea time. Grab your beverages of choice. I've got some tea right here, and Amber, she allegedly has a joke.
Where did Sylvester Stallone go on his vacation?
Wow, a joke I can actually respond for. I'm so taken aback by this that I don't even have any kind of answer at all. Sylvester Stallone went to Nevada for a vacation to hunt for aliens.
To the Rocky Mountains.
I guess that makes sense. He did play Rocky, so that makes a lot of sense. I should have guessed that. And I have licorice spice. All right, folks, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for watching. Happy Spectacular Saturday, folks. I hope your Saturday is going spectacularly. Amber, we need some kind of moral advice and/or guidance, and have it involve relationships.
What's most important in a relationship is that the two people in the relationship are on the same page, whether we're talking marriage timelines or who pays for dinner.
I think that is great advice. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
Bye.